I was 29-year-old when I started my first business, and before that I was apprenticed with both my brothers, Dr. CK Kumar and CK Ranganathan. So I had the privilege of knowing the nuances of the business. How is the cost working? What is the marketing? Where do we procure material? All those things I was aware. But what I was not aware, which is very important, is that which I have to pay a heavy price to learn, is that in the beginning the entrepreneur never considers his time as an investment. Okay, one of the primary mistake every entrepreneur faces, especially in the first thing, is they don't value their time. Actually, they are giving life to the idea, and because of them the idea is coming to reality, and they don't value that because they are busy managing everything. And the second one I learned very hard was there are 6 stakeholders in any business. The first is the customer, second is the employees, third is the vendors, fourth is the bank, fifth is the government agencies, and sixth is the partners. And now a 7th stakeholder called Planet Earth has come. The idea of the business is to balance all 6. I was doing mistake of taking care of 1 or 2 stakeholders. I will take care of the customers well, I will take care of the employees well, but not pay the vendor on time. Then I will take care of the 3 people well, and I will not pay the bank loan on time. Then I will take care of the 4 and not pay the taxes on time. All these things came again and hit me, and that is when I learned that there are 6 stakeholders in any business, and our job is to balance all these 6 stakeholders. Now Corona has come and told us there is a 7th stakeholder, take care of the planet also. And that's how my first learning in the early stage happened. The next learning is when I started my naturals business along with my wife. This time I put 60,000 rupees per month is what I wanted to take home. And that's how this journey began, which is very different from the last journey. So I put what are all the unit cost for a salon, which is the rent, salary, then the electricity cost, the product cost, the taxes, and then the extra 60,000 rupees is what I wanted to make. And then how soon we are going to make that, because we wanted to do this business as a franchising model. Before we franchise, the unit economics should be good in a franchise model, and that is what we focused on this time, and we could get that things right very well. I think for any business which is want to be scalable, especially in a retail business or a franchise business, ensure the unit economics, the unit has to be intrinsically profitable. Then only you should be able to scale. I think that is a big lesson I have learned, which I have used in this kind of franchise business, which has been very robust, and it has helped me a lot not to go away from that, because we have a back-end cost and we have a front-end cost. The front-end has to be intrinsically profitable. I think that is the first thing you should look at, and if that is profitable, then you can do PE funding, you can do franchise funding, you can borrow loan from the bank. All those things are possible provided you get the unit economics right. I think that's the big learning I have got. Then the next learning I have got is in terms of where do I do the investment, or where do I do the thing. I read one very interesting book. It is called The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. He has got some very fantastic way to put it. He says part of money what you make is for you to keep. That means when an entrepreneur, businessman is making a lot of money, he is very euphoric, he keeps on investing in the money, business, or he keeps on investing on something else. He says take 10% of the money generated and take them away from business and do invest in another field. He says not saving, it is investment. Investments means you should do in an area in which you are aware of it, and you are knowledgeable, and you put that money there, and that money should make another money. With that money you should buy luxury. And that's what George Clason so beautifully put. And once I start practicing that, I think that has given me an extremely good stability on a personal front. Otherwise, before that, we used to go from pillar to post, make a lot of money, good turnover, good books on paper, paper is very nice, and borrow more money, and that chakkar was continuing. But then that's when I decided part of money is for you to keep. Once I started following, it made a huge difference. The next one, which I found a very significant thing, was about look at life. How much is wealth is required for you? Do you think you are wealthy, and what is the wealth for you, and what is required for you? And there I come across with a nice formula. It says your monthly requirement in terms of maintaining your lifestyle into 12, which is the yearly thing, into 30. If you are able to put that, and that money, if you are able to have either as a bank balance or as a wealth for you, that means you are rich. More than that, money doesn't have any value. So once you calculate that, that is your monthly lifestyle requirement. Say suppose it is 1 lakh into 12 lakhs, which is into 12 months, which is 12 lakhs into 30, which is 3 crore and 60 lakh. If you are able to lay hands either as a property or as this thing, that means you are rich. You don't require more money than this. Money can do little things to you. It can do many things through you. I see a lot of entrepreneurs chasing money day in and day out. I really don't know for what. Money can get you a good car, it can get you a good house, it can get you a good bed. 10 beds, 20 biryanis or 30 cars is of no use. There is no point in going to an Apollo hospital in a Mercedes Benz. I will gladly trade all my amenities for 2 more years of healthy life. I think we all should know money can do little things to you. It can do many things through you. What it can do, you can build an educational institution, you can build a hospital, you can build a what you call factory and give jobs to other people. That's the use of money. It has got limited validity. Money is like a fuel to your car. It is neither the journey nor the destination. It is just a part of the transportation system. And that's exactly how you should look at money. Yes, to a limited extent, money is very useful to maintain a lifestyle, to maintain your life. But more than that, don't keep on chasing money and money and money. It's not going to be of any use. We have seen so many rich people who think they are poor, and who when they left, there is no use of that money. I think in our lifetime, we have to use that money, enjoy that money. After that, we should leave it to the charity. And that's where I like the Westerners very much. 80% of the money what they make, they don't give it to their 7th generation and 8th generation. They give it for the charity. I think money is for you to share it with the world. Money and knowledge should be shared is the thought what I have got, which I'm practicing, which I find it to be extremely useful. The next one I want to speak about is about, we have recently started an angel funding company, which is called CK Angels. And I look at the business in 3 parameters I look at for investing. The first one is the merit of the idea itself. That is the first thing. Okay. Is the idea scalable? That is the first thing I look at. The second one I look at is what problem is that idea solving? It should solve a problem. That's when the idea becomes powerful. What problem is it solving? The next one is what is the team which is going to execute this? Okay. The third one is how much money is required. The last point, which is very important for me, is what is the end game of that business? If you are able to put a tick mark in all that, I think you have got a business model which is robust. I think an entrepreneur, before starting a business, they should think what is the end point. Whether you want to sell that business, or whether you want to keep it for life, or whether you want to give employment, what is your end game of that business? I think it's very important that we know that. Then we should know what is the team which is going to execute that. Then we should identify how much money is required to execute that. If you put all that 2-3 together, I think you have got some very interesting things which is going on. The last one I want to leave with you is about a recent venture I have started along with my daughter Damayanti, called Namma Cafe. This is business at the bottom of the pyramid. I go back and when I was young, we are from a small town called Kadalur near Pondicherry, and my father's primary business is to buy pharma products in bulk and put it in small packets and distribute to medical shops. Along the way, he did various businesses. He is a very curious, innovative man, always wanted to look for new opportunities. One day he was traveling to Singapore to attend an exhibition. Fortunately for us and unfortunately for him, he was carrying a Tata bottle shampoo, and that bottle broke and it soiled the entire dress. Instead of blaming the Tata bottle maker or the shampoo maker, he said, hey, here is a problem. Can I fix it and convert to an opportunity? And that's called entrepreneurship. And my father, remember I told you, he bought pharma products in bulk and put it in small packets. He thought, hey, why not I do for shampoo also? He made his own formulation. He made his own machine. He packed the India's sachet shampoo and called it Velvet. Last decade, India Today came out with an article about 50 revolutions which changed in India after independence, and my father's sachet innovation was number 8 in that. That was one of the most gratifying moments. He said something very interesting. He said, what a rich person is able to enjoy, the poor person should be able to afford. That was the thought process for packing the shampoo. Coming back, I saw the same opportunity in the pandemic. which is the business at the bottom of the pyramid. The local tea shops is lacking in hygiene. Today hygiene has become a high importance. The lacking in variety, and they are lacking in branding and marketing. I said, why not we brand that local tea shops and come out with a new concept, which is what is Namma Cafe all about. And we have launched, so far we have got 8 outlets in Namma Cafe, bringing in high quality 10 rupee tea, 8 varieties of tea, 4 varieties of coffee, snacks, etc. A 6 lakh business model, very pocket friendly for startup entrepreneurs. Attached to it is 6 cycle entrepreneurs, we call them cyclopreneurs. And that's how this model is now shaping up, and it is moving on like that. In the pandemic, I found something very interesting. It is when your mind is weak, the situation will look like a problem. When your mind is normal, same situation will look like a challenge. When your mind is strong, same situation will look like an opportunity. Suddenly I was caught off guard by the pandemic, and 2 months, 3 months went on, and after that I realized, no boss, we need to do something. Imagine you are going in a forest and suddenly one lion comes in front of you, you have a problem. Imagine you are going in a same forest and the same lion comes in front of you. This time you have an AK-47 in your hand. Now lion has a problem. The lion which has come in front of us is Corona. The AK-47 is the new skill, new opportunities, the talent, new business models, what we have to come into the circle. We need to reinvent physically, reinvent mentally, reinvent financially, and reinvent business models. The illiterates of the 21st century are not the ones who cannot read and write. The illiterates of the 21st century are the ones who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, which is what Alvin Toffler told. I think the time for everybody to unlearn and relearn and learn a lot of new stuff, because life before Corona and life after Corona are completely different, because the customer has changed fundamentally, the world has changed. Please don't follow the old rules and try to fix up for the new market, because the world has changed. And that is when we have started looking at how to do a lot of new models. We have introduced home service in natural salon business. We have introduced the Namma Cafe as one of the business, fusion food, and we are also looking at retailing the products and online teaching. So these are some of the new areas we have gotten. I'm sure the 2021 December, when we look back, we will say, thank you Corona, because of you, a single company has now become a group company, and we are now into multiple baskets, and that's what has happened. Most of them are not taught, they are caught. They see us doing, and then that's how the life goes on. But I can very clearly say, when in our grandfather time, he used to really work hard, and he used to work on a single job, and he used to think the boss is the ultimate. And there is only one boss. Even if he is abusive, he is this thing, they never used to go the work, because that is needed for them to survive. The next phase came, which is our parents. Our parents ensured that they are going and working, and there is a little bit of education involved. They ensured that we are getting the lifestyle. They are giving a not lifestyle. They are giving us the standard of living, because there is a place available, there is a car available, they got some EMI, ensured the children are studying good, and they gave us the standard of life. Today's generation, it is about the quality of life and lifestyle, which is what is very important. If you tell them the old story, my son and daughter will say, boss, enough is enough. Okay, you come, I don't want to listen to how your grandfather sat before that, street light and studied that and all, we don't want to hear. You tell me now, how are we going to make it better to the next level? And that's the kind of conversation they want to indulge in. So I used to say that, to whom much is given, much is expected. Today's children, much is given to them. In terms of infrastructure, in terms of choices, in terms of opportunities, it is humongous. So it is up to them to grab it in the hand, make few mistakes in the beginning, correct themselves, and only then they can really scale up. Giving to my children naturals or a pastry is not going to help them at all. That is when I want them to start on their own. The red box, what my son is running, or a Namma Cafe, what my daughter is running, is in a way that they are getting groomed, and they are getting their hand dirty, and that's how they should be groomed. Otherwise, if you give them on a platter, they will not know how to really handle real life. And that's what I feel should be the take from my side. I want to make Naturals as the #1 salon chain of the world. So that's where I have put myself. But if you ask me, I am also learned how to reduce risk. Entrepreneurship is not risk taking, it is actually risk reducing. And as you gain experience, you will know very clearly what risk not to take and what risk to take, and ensure your family is not risked at any point of time, your lifestyle is not risked, and what is the extra money and extra time available that you put it to risk. And because of the network what you have built and the talent and the experience what you have gained, today my risk level to risk to reward ratio is very high. And that's what is the value of the experience. Today I can very clearly put it on paper only, I can say which one will work, which one will not work. So that's the thing which we gain by experience. And some schools teach us when they are young. So if you are fortunate to study in a good school and have a good people around you, and you are able to learn that at a very, very high this thing. One of the books I recommend very personally is that Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's personal finance book. It fundamentally changed my outlook to finance and the way in which we look at life, and especially personal finance and also business finance. So I suggest everyone should have a look at that book and Robert Kiyosaki's teaching, because it is very different but is very contextual. Personal wealth, you should be risk averse, and the business finance should be where you can take risk because you are playing in a familiar turf. It is like a Sachin Tendulkar will play cricket well, but for him to learn a golf, it will take, he will play as a beginner. So that's the kind of difference we can say. Unfortunately, it is the same person going in both the places. So he will try to hit the ball with a long handle, and that's how we do that. But luckily, most of my personal finance, etc., decisions are taken by my wife. So who is little more conservative than me when taking that risk, and that helps me. But we work with this framework, which is part of money what we make is for you to keep. 10% generate the money, and that you keep it aside, and that money has to be invested, it should not be saved. I think these are some formulas which works wonders. A lot of times formulas is so powerful, provided we use it. And that's why 2 plus 2 equal to 4, whether I say, you say, or anyone say. That's the power of formula. And these people have found the formula for over years which has worked. And I think we should use the formula and slightly tweak it to our own contextual sense. That's how I look at it. Yeah, I would always want to invest in CK Angels first. For instance, she will say, why another startup again do invest and do all these things is what is her. She will say, why not we buy a bigger house? I'm not in favor of buying a bigger house. I think too much will spoil it's like a salt. Too much will spoil the food it is intended to. I don't really fancy 5 houses and 10 houses and feeling that is going to give you security. There is no security in life. I think we should all understand that. There is no security in life. Okay, the most secure place is the jail, which nobody wants to go. Money you have to make per month. I think that number is very, very important. Then identify into 12 into 30 is the goal you are chasing. Lot of people don't have a goal. Without having a goal, if you keep chasing, if you chase 2 rabbits, you will catch neither. So you have to identify that rabbit you want to chase, and you should have a number. Once you put a number, the mind works much better. Otherwise, if you say, I want to become rich, I want to become wealthy, I want to buy a big car, the mind cannot connect to that. You should make your goal into a SMART goal. The SMART goal is specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and timely. If you put that and put a deadline to that number, I want to own that much and this kind of thing, and if you are able to put that with a number in hand, I think that is when you give power to your subconscious mind and you start moving towards that. So I will say that is the first thing. Second is balance that 6 stakeholders. Very, very, very important. Don't get carried away by robbing Paul and paying Peter. It will not work. It will eventually put you in trouble. All the 4 wheels of the car should have an air if your journey has to be comfortable. If one wheel is having more air and another is punctured, you will not be able to travel. Balancing is very important. I think that is the second big lesson I have learnt, very hard lesson I have learnt, and that is the second lesson I have this thing. Third one I will feel that is after making money, which is your lifestyle, which is, I think, don't go for more and more money. I think that's a futile exercise. I think you should rather live your life in more ways than one. I think champions live their life in transition. I think once you reach a particular place, you have to move on to the another sphere and live life. Say, suppose, as my favorite is Sir Edmund Hillary, of the man who scaled the Mount Everest. After a couple of attempts to scale Mount Everest has failed, he and Tenzing Norgay and his team will work from the base camp and he will find a new way to solve it, and after that is cracked on the paper, he will come out of the base camp and look at Mount Everest and scream, "Hey Mount Everest, you have defeated me 2 times, but next time I am going to be on top of you. You know why? Even as Mount Everest, you cannot grow any further. I as a human being will continue to grow." And next time he was on top of the Mount Everest, and there is no photograph of Edmund Hillary on top of Mount Everest. It is only Tenzing Norgay on top of Mount Everest. That's how the team player leaders really play. And after that, he has spent all the money to help the Nepali children, whoever wants to grow in life. He has invested his money in completely another field and helping those children to really come up in life, education, their lifestyle, all those things he is taking care of. I think that's, in my mind, a real life. We should start looking at life beyond money, and that's the real purpose, I would say, of life. Your dream is your signature. Make sure the entire world knows it. So that's one of my favorite quotes. I think that summarizes where that your dream should, everybody should know your dream, and the entire world should know. And every dream is important, and everyone's dream is also important. There are a lot of dreams, lot of talents, and lot of potentials which are locked in rooms. And I think as a role for people is that we should give that dream a reality, and that's when we can build a beautiful world together. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Together, let us build a beautiful India. Thank you.